we're back with chapter 4 of Cinderella Phenomenon Rata. I'm not gonna make any promises. I really wanna get this game done because I haven't played it. I've only been playing it when I'm recording, so my reactions are genuine. And I love this franchise, so I'm trying really hard to find time to play this. And record, just because I get really self-conscious recording. Yeah, so that's why I have time in the evenings, but my boyfriend and I share a room, and that's the room we're recording to, so it's awkward. Anyway, enough of the rambling. Let's get back into it. Emmeline and I emerged from the York store after a 2-hour visit. Sebby, who's sitting on Emmeline's shoulder, huffs a sighs we exit. Finally, I feel like I have my cheeks pinched for hours. Emmeline laughs. It's because Viorica's cousins adore you. Sebby grumbles, but I can't help but smile. Viorica's child cousins were in the store today when we came to visit. Viorica's been watching them while their parents are on vacation. I suspect our cousins were a little easier to track today because Sebby was with us. Emmeline and I have been trying to sneak into more places with us lately. You enjoy the attention, you just don't want to admit it. But my poor cheeks! Would you rather have been stuck in Rob's room? I could swear to blood sugars. I guess the kids aren't that bad. Emmeline pats Sebby's head as we make our way into the town plaza. Back when I was Emmeline's personal maid, I came to town with her frequently. I didn't like going out then, but now I find these little excursions become permissible and enjoyable. Emmeline likes to show me stalls and treat me to her favorite baked goods. So far, my favorites are candied apples. Emmeline sighs wistfully. I love it when Viorica's cousins come to visit. They're adorable. I'm sure they enjoy your cookies as much as you enjoy theirs. Don't you find them endearing? I shrug. Children are difficult for me to understand. When I was young, I distrusted most children my age because mother insisted they were trying to use me. I think I appreciate your honesty. Children usually do. Emmeline gives me a teasing smile. Someday, I think you'll make an excellent mother. I freeze so suddenly and nearly trip over a passing merchant. What? I put a hand in my mouth, horrified that the word just comes out so high-pitched, more than a few times Lois glanced at me curiously. What? Did I say something wrong? I reach out to grasp Emmeline's hand with the grumble holding her along with me. When I finally pulled out of the crowds, Emmeline was laughing. I failed to see how this is amusing. You're adorable when you're embarrassed. I do not understand children, Sebby coughs. Ron seems like he'd be mystified by children too. You don't give Ron enough credit. He is fiercely loyal to those he loves. Emmeline is smiling at me mischievously. I turn away with a sigh. I feel like I've fallen into a trap. No, please God. I love it when you and Ron gush about each other. You think someday they'll have a child to gush over? Both of you will stop talking. The last thing on my mind right now is children. I'm so sorry. I am a little sick still, so my voice is all over the place. Can you guys imagine a baby said baby abroad? What I would love to see is if their child had both the hair colors, a mixture of red and white, kind of what's his name? I think it's Todoroki from My Hero Academia, but mixed it, you know? I think it would be so cute. But yeah, I hope that there's a route in this game, because it seems like this is leading up to a proposal. I'm hoping. Maybe it'll go something more. And the other routes in this game led up to different events in life, so I'm hoping there's one route in this game that shows that married to one of the MCs and they're having a child. Waltz, oh my god, that'd be so cute with Waltz. Because he just loves children so. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop gushing. Get back to you. I'm talking. The more I think about it, the more embarrassed I become. Emmeline must tell for myself that I feel uncomfortable because she shows the competition to herself. Someday, I would like to have a family of my own. I look at her curious. The last This time she was interested in another man. Bark. The masked man wasn't his accomplice. He disappeared after I broke my curse, and we've still been unable to discover his identity. Why was she interested in Bark? Actually, I can't really say anything because Bark was kind of mysterious, tall, dark, mysterious, handsome daddy. So I get it. But I mean, let's be real. Emily and Lance, they're the true OTP. Emily was heartbroken. She really seemed to want to get to know Bark better. Since then, she hasn't seemed to connect with anyone else, at least not so far as I'm aware. I know for a fact he'd be an amazing mother. Thank you, Lisa. Someday, I hope I'll have the opportunity to have a family, but I'm in no rush. She shakes her head. Speaking of rushing, you and Rod have taken everything very slowly, haven't you? What do you mean? Emily laughs. Well, it took you a while to resolve the most recent issue. You make it sound like we were fighting, when the problem was that Rod was being very secretive. He truly is a special kind of stubborn. Sebby sighs dramatically. Welcome to my world, Princess. Can you imagine what it was like to listen to what my fingers thought, but know he was never speaking out loud? Rod is so overdramatic. You really do know best, she said. Of course. I think Sebby would be a relationship. Sebby should be a relationship counselor. That would be an excellent counselor. The two of us share a laugh as we turn head back to the palace. Lisa, thanks again for accompanying me today. It was my pleasure. Emily tapped Sebby on the head. Let's go return you to Rod's room, shall we? Back to the dungeon. Emily laughs. I'll see you later, Lisa. Good night, Princess. On my way back to the room, I see Father. He's heading for my door when he stops, noticing me. Ah, there you are, Lisa. How was today's outing? I'm curiously, it's rare for him to seek me out. It was fine. Viorica's child cousins are visiting. Ah, Emily talks at length about how endearing she finds them. I suppose. Can you spare me a few minutes, Miss Up? My curiosity sharpens to weariness. Of course. Then, shall we walk? He offers his arm, and I set my hand in the crook of his elbow. The two of us begin to wander the corridors, which are thankfully quiet at this time of day. Bitch, it's night. Don't you see the stars? So, I hear you and Rod have resolved things. Yes, finally. I glance at him. He told me he saw you out for advice. Father smiled. He looks almost relieved. I'm glad he came to me for advice. I could tell something was amiss. I'm glad he spoke with you. He seemed to clear things up for him. It can be extremely difficult to discern one's feelings when it comes to love. It's a complicated thing. That is why it's so important to self-reflect on your feelings, but also your loved ones. Father pauses to look at me. It's good to see you smiling again, Lisa. I know this long-distance relationship has been difficult for you, but if you ever need advice, I know what it's like to court someone outside of the noble circle. You and Ophelia are an inspiration. My father laughs. I could say the same thing about you and Rod. You sacrificed so much to be here. I know Rod has, but have I? It is a father can read my mind. He reaches out and to cut my cheek. You've come a long way, Lisa, more than any of us, I believe. It is no easy thing learning to trust after being taught to not rely on others. My father falters. I'm sorry I could not teach you that sooner. Each day, I'm grateful you decided to give me another chance to make things right between us. My heart twinges. Of course, We both pause at the sound of footsteps. I expect a servant and am surprised to see Rod instead. He looks just as surprised to see us. Am I interrupting something? Of course not. My father presses a brief kiss to the top of my head. Good night, Lisa. Until next time. Good night, Father. Father dips his head in Rod's direction before walking off. Rod leans aside to kiss my cheek as he approaches. How was the outing? It was pleasant. I give him a look. What about your day? You've been resting, I hope. After we had that conversation the other day, Rod and I discussed the necessity of taking breaks. I look him over now, relieved to see the dark circles under his eyes are faded, and that, for the first time in a long time, he looks relaxed. I did. Mother tried to convince me to take the whole week off, even. She said I ought to treat myself. He sighs. My birthday is one day. I don't need a whole week. What? I stared at him. It occurs to me I've never celebrated Rod's birthday with him, that he has never even mentioned it before. Rod looks taken aback. I shouldn't have mentioned it. I never do anything for my birthday. I don't... What do you want? I step toward him. Rod looks unnerved. I don't want anything. Having you is enough. Nonsense. Rod runs a hand through his hair and groans. You really don't need to give me anything, Lucette, but... He blushes. I'd love any gift you buy me. Anything? I cannot get into just anything. I should make sure this is the best birthday gift he's ever received. I'll come up with something meaningful. I must. Girl. You know what the best birthday present is? It's the Glug Glug 9000. I'm just kidding. Don't do that, guys. Rod coughs awkwardly. Anyway, we were talking about you. How have you ever kind of cousins? It occurs to me that it's been a while since Rod visited her. Sometimes I think about how strange it is that the reason he came to be here in the first place is because he wanted to impress her. So much has changed since then. All of us found happiness in unexpected places and people. I smile. They were well. We are, of course, always so lively when the children are around, and Seppi was very good at distracting them while we spoke. Rod snorts. Seppi is a good distraction. I look at him curious. Have you visited her recently? I have. Emma didn't stop pestering me until I did. He glances up at the night sky, and the moon illuminates the melancholy in his eyes. You're right. She is more lively. I'm happy for her and her husband. Unthinkingly, I reach out to grab his hand. After a few moments, Rod leads it into me. Strange, isn't it, how quickly time passes? York has been married for a while now. I can feel his eyes on me. If we married someday, what kind of wedding would you want? My cheeks warm at his question. This is the first time he's ever mentioned marriage. Well... You know I dislike decadent celebrations. Something simple would be nice. Being with you is the important thing. That is true! Oh my gosh. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a wedding. Like, the day is about you and your significant other, not how much money you can spend, how fancy you can make things, just... I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about weddings. I feel like just save all the money you would spend on a wedding, do a down payment on a house, to go on a nice honeymoon. So many times people have a really nice wedding, but they can't afford a honeymoon because they spend so much money on the wedding, It's just... Anyway, Rod sighs. It's relief to hear that. I'd do anything with you, but an elaborate celebration would be... I try to imagine him on some grand stage with the spotlight trained on him. Uncomfortable? To say the least. A wedding is a celebration for two people, not one. I would never suggest something you'd be uncomfortable with, but I look at him curious. Why do you ask? I wanted to know your preference. I've been thinking about the future a lot lately, so... He turns away, cheeks flushed. You're blushing. I am not. Rod turns his attention skyward again, a soft smile on his face. This may be strange to say, but I'm really glad I was cursed. It's strange to think I wouldn't know you otherwise. Rod steps back and tilts my chin up. I look into his eyes, so bright in this darkness, and smile. We wouldn't be here, right now, like this. He trails his fingertip down my cheek until his thumb is brushing my lips. Get it! Oh my god! Get it! Then he leans down and presses his lips to mine. At first it was a slow, sweet kiss, but then his hands traveled on my back, drawing shudders up my spine as he pulls me closer to deepen the kiss. It's a kiss I sink into, a breathless kiss I never want to surface from. When Rod finally pulls away, his cheeks are turning rosy, but the shock on his face... I have no doubt my own face looks the same way. I'm sorry. I laugh. It's a good thing the halls are soundy tonight. Suspiciously so. I hope no one is watching us. The thought makes me want to hide under my blankets forever. I shake my head. Do not apologize. That was very nice. Why are you looking at me like that? Rod clears his throat. Nothing. I'm glad you thought it was nice. The longer we stand here, the more awkward this becomes. Rod coughs. We should get some sleep. That is a good idea. I reach out and take his hand. He walks me back to my room. We say our goodnights before parting for the night. I stare at the cakes lined up for today's taste test. Ophelia decided to leave it up to Emily and I to choose the best cake for the ball. So far, I've tasted 3 cakes, but I've been able to concentrate on the flavors. My mind is on the ball, which took place in 1 week, and more importantly, Rod's birthday is in 2 days, and I've yet to come up with a gift idea. The chocolate mousse cake is the best so far. What do you think, Lucette? I nod absently. Emily leans forward, squinting. What? You say that, but you haven't even tasted it yet. She gestured toward my fork, saw how first in my mouth. Sorry. What's on your mind? Rod's birthday. Oh, I just recently bought my gift for him. Why did he not mention it to me earlier? Why did no one mention it at all? I narrow my eyes at Emmeline, who raises her hand in surrender. I just remembered it a few days ago. I always forget. Rod never likes to make a big deal of it. I'm surprised you know about it. He brought it up accidentally to me. Emmeline laughs. That sounds like him. So, she leans forward. Do you have any gift ideas? We're gonna make a plush. I notice so, and I think it's the best play to my strength. Emmeline claps her hands. Yes, we can add another member to Rod's plush family. I wonder if Sebby will become competitive. I'm sure he'll love it. I nod to myself. Alright then, I'll give it a try after we finish these cakes. And Emmeline? Yes? I can trust you to keep this a secret from Rod. Yes? Of course, my lips are sealed. I had servants purchase supplies for me while I was tasting cakes. When I return to my room, everything is waiting for me on my desk. I hold myself in my room for hours. My excuse is that I'm studying magic, but really, I spend the whole day working on the plush for Rod. Emmeline helps make the lie more convincing, and no one comes by to check on me. Day fades to deep night, and then, finished. I set down my tools and hold up the small plush. It's so cute, oh my gosh. It's the first time I've ever made something like this. I struggle with the more intricate stitches, but it does not look as bad as I feared. I glance up and I'm shocked to see that it is midnight. One more day until Rod's birthday. Who knew I'd be able to finish this so quickly? I make my way over to my bed and close my eyes. Sleep comes quickly that night, and it's not long before I fall into darkness. The day of Rod's birthday, I asked him to meet at our special meeting place. I turn when I hear rustling leaves. Did I keep you waiting long? I shake my head. Not at all. I hand Rod my wrapped gift. Happy birthday, Rod. Rod smiles. Who said you really shouldn't have? He takes the gift, eyes widening as he gently tears the wrapping. It's so precious. I made it myself, in addition to your plush family. Thankfully, this one is not charmed, so you don't have to worry about another plush giving away your secrets. Rod laughs as he holds the bear plush up. Have I accidentally called him Rolf or something? I don't know, man. I don't know. His eyes glitter with mirth. Good. I have one plushie that talks my ear off. He runs his fingers over the stitches and looks up at me in wonder. This is amazing, Lucette. Thank you. I shrug. It's a small thing. You going out of your way to do this for me means a lot. He gently tucks the plushie under his arm. I wonder if carrying it around will make Sebby jealous. I wanted to get back at him for sneaking behind my back. He really was only trying to help you, you know. I know. The two of us make our way back to the palace. A small feast awaits us upon our return. Ophelia and Emmeline are full of smiles and laughter. Last year they could not celebrate Rod's birthday with him, so they make this celebration as merry as they can. Father and I excuse ourselves early so that Rod can enjoy the rest of his day with his mother and sister. No, you should have celebrated with him too. I mean, I guess they already did celebrate, but yeah. Tomorrow Tomorrow's the night of the grand ball, and the palace is bustling with activity as the staff make last-minute preparations. More than once, flustered servants daily bump into me as I'm walking back to my room. I have just gotten out of dance lessons with Rod, and I'm eager to relax. I turn a corner and nearly run into someone else again. I'm so sorry. I step back surprised. Emily? Oh, Lucetta. Emmeline bends over, reaching for a piece of parchment that apparently fell to the floor during a collision. I notice a familiar crest embedded into the letter stamp. A letter from Brigantia? I eye her curiously. Is that from Claude? Not exactly, I consider. The only other person who'd be writing to Emily is Prince Lance. Emily tells me they get along. I've only spoken to Lance a few times myself. I didn't know he wrote to Emily. Lance, then. Emily suddenly looks embarrassed, guilty even. Is there something you'd like to tell me? She fidgets, suddenly looking very nervous. We could talk in my room if you'd like. Yes, let's. I plop myself down on the bed and gesture for Emily to sit beside me. So, Prince Lance, do you write to him often? Only about once a month. Is this a secret? Oh, not at all. I just figured no one would care. Lance and I were discussing mundane things over letters. Mundane things, like everything from palace life to history. Lance told me he wanted to learn more about Angio when he last visited, so he suggested exchanging letters. You remember when Brigantian royal family visited a year ago to thank you for dispelling Claude's curse? I do remember. It was nearly a year after dispelled Claude's curse. That was the last time he and his family visited, and when Claude first brought up the dance instructor position to Rod. So you've been exchanging letters for a while now? Emmeline smiled sheepishly. Yes, it's never been a secret, but I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier. No apologies necessary. You don't need to tell me everything, you know? I know, but you've been so honest with me. I will not say no to details now, if you would like to share them. Emmeline has always been a good listener and great at giving advice. The least I can do is try to repay the favor. There's not much to share. Your face says otherwise. Emily puts her hand to her cheeks with a sigh. I already told you the gist of it, but recently Lance has mentioned he'd like to spend time together. He even mentioned courting you? Emmeline huffs a soft and nervous laugh. Not exactly in those words, but yeah. He'll be here for tomorrow's ball, but I don't want him to ask Father for permission then. Why not? It seems as perfect as any opportunity as any. Oh my gosh. Because this ball is for you. Because Rod... She freezes. Because Rod what? It's nothing. Just ignore me. This wouldn't happen to be that surprise Owen keeps mentioning, would it? You'll see. Anyway, this is a celebration for you and Rod, and whatever might happen between Lance and I is in the future. It can wait. You two waited after all, and now you finally get to have your happily ever after. Happily ever after. We still have problems to work out, but we're getting there, step by step. Anyway, please don't tell Rod I mentioned anything. We're so close to the ball, too. I will not say a word. Emmeline sighs with relief. Thank you. So, about Lance. I laugh when Emmeline blushes. Have you told anyone else about this? Father obviously does not know, but what about Ophelia and Rod? I've told Mother, but Rod... I've been trying to find the right time. Rod can be very, overprotective. One time a suitor sent me flowers, and Rod trailed him back to his home and bombarded him with questions. Isn't that harassment? He's always been that way. He's so stressed now, I'd rather not have him worry about my relationship with anyone. So I'm keeping it a secret for now. Like sister, like brother, but I wonder what the right thing to do is. I think you should tell him. You think? Do not let our relationship stop you from pursuing yours. Rod would not want that. Besides, Rod stayed in Brigantia for a year. He knows Prince Lance. When he told me about his time in Brigantia, he even sounded like he respected him. That's a relief. Emmeline looks thoughtful for a few moments as she considers. not children anymore. And truly, I'm terrible at keeping secrets anyway. I smile. I'm happy for you, Emmeline. Thank you. Regardless of when Lance asks for the king for permission to court you, at least you'll get to see him tomorrow for the ball. And here I thought Emmeline was as interested in all her suitors, but there's a man all this time she was interested in. Emmeline blushes and nods. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I grin, and peppering him with questions to make sure he's worthy of you. Lucette! Not you two. I laugh when Emmeline nudges my shoulder. The two of us continue speaking well into the night. Emmeline does not hint at what tomorrow's surprise is, but I no longer wonder. Whatever it is, I'm excited for it. Alright. That is the end of chapter 4. We have 2 more chapters left, chapter 5, and then chapter 6 is like, if I got the good ending or the bad ending, but it's going to be the good ending first, because I use a walkthrough. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!